From Soil to Strategy, India's Agri-Renaissance. The panel on From Soil to Strategy, India's Agri-Renaissance explores how India's agriculture is evolving from traditional practices to dynamic, innovation-driven ecosystem. Experts will be sharing insights on technology integration, sustainability, value chain transformation, and policy frameworks shaping the next era of agri-growth, positioning India as a global agri-powerhouse. Now that we start off with this panel discussion, please put your hands together for the moderator, KRK Reddy, Managing Director, Shri BioAesthetics, the moderator here with us. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Let's make some noise for the panelists here. Saurabh Agarwal, founder, GrowIt. Debabrata, Sarcar, CMD, Alga Energy. And SK Malhotra, Vice Chancellor, Maharana Pratap, Horticultural University. Requesting all the panelists to please join us on the stage. And together, can we give our moderator and the panelists a round of applause as we get started with the third panel discussion for today's event. Without any further ado, handing it over to the moderator, KRK Reddy.
Okay. I have a presentation, 5 minutes. Good evening, everyone. So this is the last presentation. There is already cut off 15 minutes from our 45 minutes, Raj. It's okay, but anyway, the last two sessions covered most of the, our topic, soils and renaissance. So that means renaissance means rejuvenation, revitalization, resetting, whatsoever, bringing back life, whatsoever. We're all talking about. First panel is, second panel, everyone stressed upon the importance of the soils. So I have just to set the stage, and I have 5 to 6 minutes presentation. May I have? Raj? So we'll try to wrap up in 30 minutes. Yeah. So we have our knowledge reservoir, Dr. S.K. Malhotra ji, and very seasoned Sarcar, Debabrata Sarcar, Dev we used to call, and very dynamic Agarwal, Saurabh Agarwal. And definitely we are going to impress upon you on the topic. So everyone spoke about this, and yeah. So this is the total landscape, and we know everyone knows about our land area. Out of that, 141 million hectares are under cultivation, and out of that, around 200 million is intensive cultivation. So today, almost the productivity is stagnant. So either whatsoever the crop you take, almost the stagnant, whatever we are producing, we were producing last 15, 20 years the same. Maybe here and there some 5 to 10% variation. But today, if you look at soils, and of course, this is actually the soil map. The red soil, we can see the coastal area of East India, East Sidon, and the rest of the soils where we have the alluvial soils and other things. I don't know, it's jumping. So that means 30 minutes it has to be covered. That is the reason. See, if you look at the total, I just wanted to give overall, almost 40 to 50%. Somebody said we have only another 50 years. So as per the statistics FAO, it is only 35 to 40 years. We are going to lose 60% of arable land across the globe, not only in India. It has direct impact on reduction of productivity by 16 to 25%. It depends upon, it's a variable number, depends upon the regions and the locations. So when you talk about how do we regenerate or rebuild our soils, So as somebody said in the first panel or second panel, though there is a highest genetic potential for any seeds, unless until we manage the crop very properly, so we cannot harvest the fullest potential of any seed material. It may be GMO or a hybrid, or it may be an improved variety. So therefore, the one important component of all these things is the soil. So therefore, soil is also not only human rights or people rights, soil also has its own rights. So therefore, we need to protect the soil rights. So that is the new slogan, because it is living entity, and no more it is dirt or dust, whatsoever people call, but it's a living entity. Therefore, we need to protect the soils and bring back whatever it is we have mined out, whatever we lost from the soils. It may be soil structure or soil nutrient capacity, or maybe the soil biology. So these are the few facts. And estimated annual soil loss, these are the statistics even if you get from the internet. And millions tons of the topsoil is eroded year after year globally. And even also India also the same thing happens. So when you talk about, so this erosion has a direct impact on the crop productivity. And erosion means it can be a degradation, losing organic carbon, losing nutrients, or losing soil life. So likewise, soil structure whatsoever. So almost each and every parameter, there is an impact. So we know millions and millions of years are required to build 1 inch of soil through biogeochemical withering. That is a natural process. But today, we know absolutely chemicals are not going to help us. I am not negatively commenting on whatsoever the fertilizers or pesticides we are using in our agriculture, but rejuvenation or regeneration of the soils where the chemicals are not going to help anymore. So therefore, we require to find out what are the exact remedies to implement to bring back the life to the soil. And this is what exactly the land degradation that has impact on the what you call GDP, and there is a statistics already available in our country. The how much almost 2% of GDP we are losing because of soil fertility. So you may call soil health or soil fertility. And this is of course this is a deficiencies across our country. And I am only posing the problems here in front of our learned panel to find out the solutions. May not possible immediately, but over the period of next 2 decades, so before this 47 or another 22 years, what best we can do at the grassroots level to bring back whatever the missing elements of the soil. Okay, whatsoever, but this is what exactly I'm just setting the context for our panelists, and maybe we will ask each panel member to give their opening remarks on the current situation of Indian soils and what are the remedies we can find out, and where actually POP, farmers package of practices, that is the most important critical thing, which is almost missing. Somebody already said the extension is weak in our country. We have to admit and agree on that, and whatsoever the extension is doing, it is because of the companies, because of the agri-input producers or the manufacturers, maybe seed, fertilizer, or pesticide, or the biologicals. So we have thousands and thousands of people at the grassroots level helping and educating the farmers, but extension system, by and large, from the government side, almost it is weak, and it is only for the administration purpose. So with this, I think I request Dr. Malhotra ji to give his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. KRK, for setting the stage. And you have already given a touch about the status regarding the soil degradation and all aspects you mentioned. Yes, it is correct that soil degradation has happened, and soil degradation has happened not only because of wind erosion, water erosion, but soil acidity, soil sodicity, soil alkalinity, that has also increased. So this way degradation has happened, and that degradation has again adversely impacted, and here the soil fertility that has decreased, and then our soil carbon reservoir that has also depleted, and then uh, several other nutrient deficiencies, micronutrient deficiencies particularly, which you mentioned, that is also on the increasing side. Now it is increasing year by year. So it's a really, situation is very alarming, and how we can counter the situation, we need to find out the interventions, and those interventions are required to be implemented. Government of India has started several programs, but here there are few interventions which are mostly recommended, that yes, we need to do composting, then we need to do some cover crops we need to use, we need to increase the soil carbon, and further some kind of other interventions are there where we can use the microbial power to rejuvenate the soils, rehabilitation of the soils. Those are the points which are required to be done. And Government of India has started several mission programs, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. So through this program, several interventions have been taken, and through those programs, soil amendments and all other things are also suggested. And similarly, there are few more approaches which are required to be adopted. One is the organic farming, then natural farming. These all are the areas where now it is being emphasized upon, that we need to regenerate our soils, and further regeneration that should be taken care of. So now these all are points we need to undertake. We need to have agroclimatic zone-wise planning, and then further we need to adopt all such measures which are eco-friendly, because earlier we were only thinking that yes, we need to go for increasing the production, and then now the time has come that productivity-led growth is required to take place. And the crop intensification that took place in the earlier that so-called green revolution period and all other things, so that has adversely impacted. But now the time has come where we need to make judicious use of the natural resources, so that we can protect our environment also, we need to safeguard. So these are the few points I think we will further add upon in the coming rounds.
Maybe Devu?
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for having me here, and Raj, thank you for creating these platforms, for having some constructive or really thought-provoking discussions. So I will talk about more of a problem. So I think already KRK has touched base on that, but I will give you certain problems, and those problem statements should be also talking about the solution by itself. So when I talk about problems, number one problem is that it is known again that we are left with 60 years of farming because of the fact that we are losing topsoils. Now how much? So I'm trying to measure, give another reference. These are all publicly available, and I will come back to my last problem statement why I'm telling so. So the second problem is that we are losing in every minute 30 soccer field of topsoil, and it takes years and years to build up one few centimeter of topsoil to grow food. And why it is important? Because we may be improving our technology and everything. So we are talking about AI, we are talking about many other potential, but then nothing will help until and unless you have a healthy soil, and without a healthy soil you don't have food, and then no food, no you and me, and no discussion further. Third is that we are talking about, in the last few panel discussion, the third problem statement. So we talked about, I think the panelist has also spoken about the potential for genetical character of the seeds, and then it's huge potential to grow. But let me tell you, if you look back at the records, last 2.5 decades, the productivity of the globe has increased 2x. And the last 1 decade, the hunger index has grown exponentially. What does it mean? That means we are producing. It's not that we are not producing more, but we don't know how to keep those produce, and we don't know how to, make those produce available for the needy. That's why the hunger index is also growing exponentially. So those are the three important parameters, and fourth is now this is a buzzword that climate change. So I think soil has got a very important role for combating climate change. So again, you go back to the reference books. There is a book called Drop Down, and it talks about how to combat climate change, which is unavoidable. So out of 25 ways to combat climate change, 11 ways are related to healthy soil. So if you have a healthy soil, which I'm sure KRK and all the panelists, and I'm sure everybody will talk about this, that a healthy soil can actually combat the climate change that we are, going through, and it is inevitable. And the last problem statement is that potential sometimes become a problem. It's not that we don't know. These are all publicly available documents. We were in the last few panel discussion, I was hearing that there is a lack of extension, activities to the farmers. And today's look at the smartphone access in India. So don't underestimate the power of information that our farmers are having. They have, and the linguistic barriers are no more. So all these informations are available. The biggest challenge is that knowledge is not the power. We all know what is good for us. And we have multiple, this kind of thought-provoking discussion. We all good brains sit together and talk about it. But then beyond this hall, or beyond policies, beyond documentation, there is hardly, there are only a few baby steps. So probably it's time to wake up and say that it is, the next world war or next world will have only three crises, not the technological advancement, not the potential. It's all about healthy soil, healthy water, and healthy air to live. So that's my opinion.
Thank you. Saurabh?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me on this elite panel. I think I'm one of the youngest amongst the all panelists, not just by age, but also by me being in the agri sector for just 5 years. So I think I will leave the other things to the agri experts who have been on the panel. I come from a very different perspective, and I bring a very different perspective to the agri sector. Coming from expertise of protected and precision cultivation from a different lens, whether it is seed, pesticide, fertilizer, I don't work on any of those fronts. So we come with a very different perspective, which is how we can increase the amount of soil testing that is happening in the country right now. If we can make a habit where, like prescribed medicines, can we have everything prescribed to the farmers? I think that would be the amazing step towards controlling the amount of chemicals that are going in. If we can control something by prescribing everything to the farmers, it can automatically get controlled. So what we are trying to do is trying to create pocket-sized soil testing devices which can help farmers as an indicative reading, so that they can get into a habit of testing the soil before doing any dosage. So probably test the soil every 15 days or a month. So that is something which we bring to the table. The other thing that we are working on, as you rightly said, sir, soil, preserving the soil. That is where we have come up with patented technologies in mulching films, in weed mats, which can preserve soil health for a longer duration. Using less water, preserving the moisture for a longer time, increasing the biodiversity of the microbes within the soil. So those are the kind of things that we think would be very important going in the future. Countries like China, Israel, they have very deep-rooted use of such technologies. So if we can bring those technologies to India, the penetration level in India is just 1% as compared to other countries which are having 60-70% of penetration of such technologies. So if we can help bring that to the foray as a different segment of agriculture in India, I think that is something can be a game changer in the next 20, 30 years in India.
Thank you, Saurabh. I think we'll have one rapid round. So time is short, sir. Malhotra, sir, you, you served as Commissioner of Agriculture, Government of India. See, there are several policies brought during the last 10 years. But we see there is a mismatch between the state and the center. There are several, what do you call, I do not know exactly the schemes. There are several schemes floated by the central government to reduce chemical use and also, yeah, so also impart some biologicals or organics. So why this is not reached the unreached?
Okay. Well, so here your question relates to the programs being implemented by Government of India and further because central government makes the new programs, they make the new policy and then it is implemented in the different states. That further depends upon the state that how effectively they implement those programs and adoption level, how much it is. These all are the factors because there are so many external factors also which affect it. So here programs are perfect, but sometimes implementation done by the state may have some kind of discrepancy. So that is required to be addressed. So I do not perfectly agree with you because there are several instances where people have taken benefit of those schemes. If I give an example of some mission programs which have been implemented in the several states, either you speak about the Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, National Food Security Mission Program, or National Mission for Edible Oils. So here you can see that some kind of resilience is also occurring, where you can see that despite of challenges, our production level is increasing. Continuously we are breaking the records. Food grains we have become self-sufficient.
Sir, my question in the context of soils.
Soils you are correct. So National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, they are now taking care of this aspect. So under this Sustainable Agriculture Program, rejuvenation, yeah, again there are some problems, soil salinity. In some areas it is increasing. So now rejuvenation and reclamation programs, those are started by the government. Then again after some years, again they will come back to that level. So that success has not been received in reclamation of the soils from sodicity to the salinity and so some other programs. But under such situations, I think some kind of failure is also there, but we need to adopt and do it at the community level. So water conservation is also there, one part where soil and water conservation both are required to be addressed together. Then micro irrigation program, sprinkler irrigation program, those have been implemented successfully. And today we have around 15 million hectare area has been covered under the micro irrigation system, where fertigation system has also been addressed together to address this nutrient management aspect. So some kind of, I should say complexity is there.
Sir, you know,
in some places failure is there, in some cases success is also there.
But the facts are today, if you look at across the country, almost 6 to 7 million hectares of land is under salinity or sodicity or alkalinity whatsoever, even acidity also. So are there any mission mode programs to convert? Because as estimated, it will be, I think, under 8 millions to be added in next one decade. So the reasons and remedies.
Well. So 94 million hectare area is under 94 million lakh hectare area that has been mentioned, that it is again wind eroded and water erosion is occurring. And then about 17.9 million hectare area again soil acidity, that is the bigger problem. Then again about 12 million hectare area is for 12 lakh hectare area is for soil sodicity. So this much area we have, it is just a wasteland, we should say. So we need to convert that wasteland to the conversion. So amendment, large scale amendments are required to be taken care of. And that's really a big challenge before the government, to the people, to the states. But we need to do it in a holistic approach is required to be followed. Lot of inputs are required where gypsum, even if I give you the example of gypsum, that if you have to reclaim the soil, sufficient quantity of gypsum is not available. Even good quality gypsum is also not available if we have to reclaim the soil. So some kind of impediments are also there, but all interventions are required to be taken care of, either it is a green manuring, composting, soil carbon enhancement, and some microbial power. That is again, I should say, that there are some microbes which can further help us in dissipating this salinity level and sodicity level in reclamation of the soils, and selection of the crops for growing in those areas, growing them on the problematic soils, that is necessary. And those crops have been identified. They absorb the salts from the soil and they reclaim over the years. So it's a strategy where short-term and long-term strategy both are required to be adopted. It is really a big challenge before the government to address this issue.
Thank you, sir. See, industry is sitting here. The soil problems are the biggest business opportunities. So because if you look at 140 million hectares, out of that 60 to 70 million hectares requires attention. That means soils requires attention. So I have a question to Devu. You represent multinationals. So all along, if you look at 100 years of the past agriculture history, last 60, 70 years, all our forces focuses mostly on pesticides or chemical fertilizers, hybrid seeds and other things. So we have simply forgotten the natural and organic, amendments. So now the biologicals. So now it is, in fact, actually I can say that everyone talks about the biologicals, especially the biostimulants or biofertilizers or biopesticides. As a multinational companies or maybe the big corporates, how you look at, see, because we discuss across our industry friends and other things, though the companies and higher management, though they are intend to introduce the biological components, wanted to have the biological components into their basket, but the grassroots level and the middle management and lower management, there is some resistance. Though they have the products, they are unable to take it to the grassroots level. So can you address this, please?
Sure, KRK, and I think very prudent, because for the past 7 years, I think I'm trying to introduce microalgae as a concept, at least in India. And when I joined this, and when I joined hand with them, and I started digging in, to my utter surprise, Saurabh, to you, that technology not need to come from outside, or even sometime knowledge is not power. I got documents, 1971. Indian scientist has worked relentlessly on blue-green algae, which is microalgae, on paddy in anaerobic situation, and got some excellent paper. But again, that was a good knowledge, but lost in transit. So now the improvised technology I'm bringing from Spain, where to the country which has thought about this technology in 1971. So that's the difference between knowledge and execution. So, but exceptional technology, there is no doubt about it. Microalgae, small, single cell, tiny elements, you'll be surprised. They have the potential to capture 200 gigaton of carbon dioxide every year. They're doing it for more than 3.5 billion years in this world. They are responsible for 50% global oxygen. And these are proven facts. You can go and check in public documents. So those are the elements we are trying to use and capitalize in the form of biofertilizer. And but again, scalability is still a question mark, because it requires a lot of support from industry, from other things, to take this concept to the farmers level. But we are doing it. We are taking those small baby steps. And I have 5 university records which clearly says it can optimize up to 20% of nitrogenous phosphoric fertilizer. It also can improve the soil biomass and increase the carbon percentage up to 9 to 11% in 2 crop season. And not from one university, 5 different university, includes Pannagar, PAU, Haryana Agriculture University, Angaru, and
Okay,
West
agreed.
Bengal.
What is to be
But
done?
this,
What is
so
to be done? Yes.
this kinds of concept, I'm sure you have microbial products, and this is not one solution as such, but this is one solution. So obviously the multiple solution which leads towards reclamation of soil is the answer, and the answer is execution, not to have a concept in 1971 and not doing nothing about it. So I think that's the answer, that it's time to, take everybody together to get into that journey.
Because we can't wait anymore, because we are left with only 2 or 3 decades. So when IPM started, we used to have frontline demonstrations, farmer field schools, etc., etc. Now I think nobody is doing it, even the government extension system. So it is on our shoulders now, because as being producers, we need to take these technologies to the grassroots level with our own efforts. But anyway, I think, Saurabh, this is the last question. See, as a young entrepreneur, how do you foresee the MSMEs enters into soil inputs, especially because I'm referring, why I always referring, because it has direct impact on crop productivity. So apart from your diagnostic services, or maybe the inputs, or maybe the prediction systems, so what is the role of MSMEs? Because yes, multinationals and big corporate, they have their own mandates and reservations, but as an MSMEs, they have what do you call reach at the rural levels and regional levels. So how do you take this? I mean,
So I think very nicely put that, it's a combination. I think somebody on the other panel said it's a combination of collaborations and partnerships, which is PPP model, or maybe MSME as well as corporate collaborations. And that is what we also try to focus on, where all the experts sitting here or in the industry have a lot of knowledge, a lot of information available, which is not available with the MSMEs. So I think it is a collaboration effort along with MSMEs that is going to be a key to unlocking the technology utilization and penetration. The MSMEs or the startup sector, so to say, in the agri ecosystem, is coming up with new technologies, but sometimes those people don't have the bandwidth to make it reach to a wider audience. So I think that is where the brand owners within the agri ecosystem can come to the partnership, where they can help those technologies to penetrate at rural level at a mass scale. So I think that is something which can exponentially penetrate the technology within the agri sector. Along with that, as you rightly said, there are a lot of paperwork that has happened, decades ago. Even when we talk of protected cultivation, or mulching films, or weed mats or shade nets, a lot of those things are proven technologies on paper, on physical results. But in the race to make everything price competitive, somewhere we have forgotten the importance of quality. And we have forgotten that one shoe fit all sometimes does not work in every crop. So I think it is very important to have technology which is crop specific, which can be result oriented. So I think that is something which, if the entire segment starts looking at as a partnership model, it can yield great results. Thank you.
so can you also mention one single strategy where you are giving importance, so to change the soils, or maybe for the renaissance of our agriculture?
So yes, we have partnered with a lot of KVKs, FPOs across the country to sort of do the trials and conduct farmer meetings, where we are showing them the live results of how with small changes they can have big results in terms of soil conservation, water conservation. As you rightly said, the penetration of micro irrigation has happened, but even after that, the water evaporation, the contamination of water has not stopped, because currently whatever chemicals are being used across the agri sector are not regulated in terms of how much to be used. It is all going by how the farmers are looking at it, or what the local retailer who is educating the farmer. So it has sometimes become a pride issue, where farmers say, if you have put 2 bags of urea, I would be putting 4 bags of urea. So if we can control that through data-driven farming, I think that is what can help change the entire context of farming.
Thank you. Sir, can you add one strategy that can be implemented as quick as possible?
Yeah. So here, okay, quick as possible. Anyway, first of all, I wanted to answer your earlier question also because I got some more ideas about that one. So if you allow, I will first elaborate on that one. So we need to adopt all kind of measures, so physical, chemical or biological. All kind of measures are required to be adopted. Another point, we need to go at the micro level. So panchayat level, if we implement all such kind of activities, definitely, and a large scale adoption occurs, then at panchayat level we fix the targets and bring the synergies between the different programs being implemented. And those all programs are required to be integrated. And then only benefit will go into that place. So at panchayat level, at village level, micro level planning is required to be followed for addressing such issues. So again, answer lies into it that we need to adopt all measures, physical, chemical and biological. And that is the quick answer I am going to reply to this question.
Can you add one strategy?
I think collaboration is the key, and we really need to extend ourselves to reach out to everybody and take all the measures possible. And I think it's not a Sarkari job for sure, and Sarkar lies in everywhere. So I think it's a time to collaborate with each technology. Nobody has all answers, but each one of them has those dots, and it's time to connect the dots.
Thank you all the panelists for your contributions. But I just wanted to finally say, yeah, somebody mentioned about DSR method or alternate dry and wet methods. So with these methods, first of all, we must stop the erosion further. So that is the first step to be done. How do we stop erosion, degradation, and improvise our soil conditions? So let us all become soil ambassadors. Say, how do we, in fact, education, no, it's not education, it's always kind of a showing the benefit to the farmer. Farmers will listen to us. See, always we have seen this year how the farmers have struggled for urea. So we all know, everyone talks about it is very bad to add nitrogen, but everyone, because it's cheaply available, and they have a mindset that unless until we use urea, we can't produce more. But it is not correct. They also know it. Their practice says today, there are hundreds and thousands of farmer groups are there. They are very innovative farmers, progressive farmers. They develop their own, whatsoever, maybe panchakavya or whatsoever. See, some organic substitutions they are going to do it. And also somebody mentioned about low tillage, alternate cropping or 5 layers or 3 layers. So these are the few immediate steps to be taken to restore the soil fertility. And thank you very much all the panelists for your excellent contributions, and also thanks to the audience. Thanks Raj for giving the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Requesting the moderator and the panelists to please step forward for a group photograph. And I would invite Mohan Babu Rajaram, COO India, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka Bayer Crop Sciences, to please step onto the stage and felicitate our panelist and the moderator. Thank you. Very firstly, let's honor our moderator. Let's give it up for KRK Reddy, Managing Director, Shri BioAesthetics. Let us now give it up for Saurabh Agarwal, Founder, GrowIt. Come on, everybody, a louder round of applause will be appreciated. Next up, let's give it up for Debabrata Sarcar, CMD, Alga Energy. Last but not the least, let's give it up for S.K. Malhotra, Vice Chancellor, Maharana Pratap, Horticultural University. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors.